so like I've told you guys before, there's tons of podcasts on, and unfortunately, there are tons of guys that I used to listen to who I believed actually were concerned about truth, reality, and moving us in a direction where we learned more about ourselves. But like I said at the beginning of this, the MAGA movement and the Israel issue, the Israel conundrum, have illuminated the charlatans of the pursuit of knowledge and intellect game in the podcast space. Okay, there's like people like Sam Harris, who I used to listen to, I used to believe he's been exposed for just a literal pro-Israel, anti-Palestine shill of a false intellectual. Joe Rogan, I don't have to say anything about him. I'm gonna do another video because we know why he turned over, right? I did a video trying to understand it, but now we clearly understand it because he's had every part of the Epstein class on his show, okay? And he's still defending them. Uh, anyway, but what I was going to say is that all of these podcasts now, they're talking about problems and reporting problems, but they're not producing, proposing, searching for solutions. Okay, so that's how I want this podcast to be different as well. So here are some of the solutions to our current socio-political problems in this country. Okay, if you ascribe to being a liberal and or a conservative in these times, you are part of the problem. You are part of the easily manipulable herd. Yeah, herd like that. You guys are part of the freaking herd. You guys are part of the freaking mindless followers that are causing the problem to balloon and have caused the problem to balloon, right? In one of my podcasts 5 years ago, I said, who's the biggest threat to the American democracy? And everybody was talking about, Democrats and Trump and uh, Hillary Clinton and the pedophile Pizzagate people, right? Or China or Russia. Okay, now China and Russia, in their rights, are threats, but my position was the biggest threat to American democracy was us. And I have absolutely been proven to be right. Why? Because Trump is one guy. He couldn't get elected by himself. He couldn't do the stuff that he's doing by himself. He had to get voted in. He had to get voted in spite of all of his flaws. And I knew we weren't going to recover from this when we're not. We'll never recover from this. This is the end of the American empire as we know it because of us. You don't get to blame Trump. You don't get to blame the Clintons. You don't get to blame Epstein. You get to blame yourself for voting for the most un-American person in the history of the world and allowing yourself to be manipulated as such. Now, liberals aren't exempt because you guys have polarized yourself the other way and created this war when the world is really gray. Like these two-dimensional arguments make you dumb. Okay, the world is neither black nor white, right nor wrong. It is gray, and there are shades of that in everything we do. But you guys have decided to be manipulable, move to your corners, and turn us into a polarized enough society where we are as dumb as we've ever been. And I'm hoping that we can recover. Now, let's talk about solutions. Okay. The first solution that we have to do is as a people, and when I say as a people, I mean as an America. If we care about America, if you do, right? I mean, we should care about America. We should care about the world. But what we first are throughout the world is we need to commit to being actually human. Okay, because that's the only thing that binds all of us, right? Race doesn't exist, it's made up. Countries, I'm okay with having the borders of countries and supporting your country more than you support other countries. So So if you support this country, then you have to evolve how you think. Two-dimensional thinking is going to, it's already put us in a very, very desperate situation. And the longer and the more often you continue to think that way, the more susceptible we are, and AI is going to just eat us up. Okay, you have to evolve your intellect to understand that there's no good and bad. I know it's hard for you guys to understand, but good and bad is just a way to categorize something that you do or don't like. That's it. That's all it is. Right? Now, if you look at the actual issue and are able to articulate what the problem is, then you can get away from using terms like that, and then you can evolve your intellect. So that's the first step. We have to evolve our intellect of above being able to be so easily manipulated and polarized that the algorithms and AI and the Epstein class can manipulate you to do whatever they want you to do. Because right now you are so easily manipulated, it is unbelievable. Okay, secondly, we have to eliminate political parties altogether. The people who are not for this, you know that they do not give a shit about moving us forward and avoiding the pitfalls that we are in at this point. Okay, there have over American history, there have been enlightening periods. This needs to be an enlightening period. And that period needs to be, we have to eliminate political parties. Why? Because the way that the machines of power control you is they basically just pay both sides so that they know that their outcome is going to happen. Okay, they pay the Democrats, they pay the Republicans, they pay the liberals, they pay the conservatives, they pay the podcasters, they pay the other podcasters so that they know that their agenda will be achieved. Okay, so if you have political parties, now it is one mindset over here, one mindset over here of people just. Guys are just the freaking followers, the herd. I got people that tell me how conservative they are, and they can't even articulate what the hell that means. That tells you are the epitome of a freaking sheep in the herd. The epitome. So, or you're a liberal. You can't tell me what that means. Okay, same thing. You are just a sheep, and you are manipulable, and you are part of the problem. So if we are able to get rid of political parties or to get all together, now individuals have to think on their own. There is no big groups that these controllers get to pay to manipulate them to do what they want them to do, regardless of what happens. Now, they're not going to pay, 300, and they're not going to pay 370 million individuals to make sure that they get their needs met. They are going to have to do work to manipulate us as a whole human body. Okay, they can't do it if we eliminate political parties, because now they can't just pay these guys over here and pay these guys over here and tell them what they want. If we don't do that, it doesn't matter. Like, if we don't eliminate political parties, these guys are going to continue to pull the strings, and it does not matter. Okay, so that's where we should be heading if we want to evolve. Okay, it makes it much harder for the architects.
Hello, Neil.
Who are you?
I am the architect. I created the Matrix.
To manipulate everybody. Makes it harder for the Israel lobby. Makes it harder for the oil lobby. It makes it harder for the pharmaceutical lobby. It makes it harder for all these lobbies now to say, okay, I got this group, I got this group. It doesn't matter what happens. We are going to win. Okay? Lastly, third and lastly, we must eliminate the concept of race altogether. Okay? Now, that is not what people want to hear, because so many people identify, I'm black, I'm white, I'm this, I'm that, and it is part of your identity. But here's the problem. It doesn't exist. There is no such thing as race. It's made up so that people can control each other and people could use it as a way of commerce, right? It is Hold on. There's a video by um what's his name? He was murdered in the like early 70s. Uh Chairman Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton. Hold on. Let me show you what Fred Hampton said about where he specifically says racism is a tool used by capitalists.
We're not a racist organization because we understand that racism is an excuse used for capitalism. And we know that racism is just it's a byproduct of capitalism. Everything would be all right if everything was put back in the hands of the people. And we're going to have to put it back in the hands of the people.
Anyway, what he specifically said was racism is a tool used by capitalists to manipulate people. Okay? So Fred Hampton was a visionary. I think he was 21 when they murdered him in his room. The FBI and the local police in Chicago took him out because he was a real force. He was super duper energetic, and it was an amazing speaker, and he had the right understanding of the dynamics with regard to capitalism, manipulation, and his big focus was the oppressed versus the oppressor, which is what I'm telling you. Okay, this whole thing is about the haves versus the have-nots. Conservatives, liberals is just about the haves versus the have-nots, right? Democrats, Republicans, haves versus the have-nots. I mean, that's what it is now. Democrats have morphed so many different times. We're not going to get into that. But the point is that race is a tool used because now they can use it because everybody believes in it, right? Back in, the year 400 BC, nobody even heard of this concept called race. Okay, they knew that there was darker skinned people, lighter skinned people, but there was no race. The race was really based on your family name and how much economic power you had, how many power regarding resources you had. So the whole point is still the same. The idea is those who have versus those who don't have. Okay, the oppressors versus the proletariat. That is how they manipulate you, and it's really that simple. Okay, that's what they use. Now, let's get back to what I was saying. So we must get away from the concept and mention of race completely because they are easy to use you to manipulate you. Okay, if you call yourself white, there is in America there's power in calling yourself white. You have to admit it, acknowledge it, get past it, don't feel guilty about it, just recognize it's a tool of manipulation. And it also helped manipulate you into voting for this current regime who basically promised that you would keep your country if you were this skin color. That's really the basis of.
When Lyndon B. Johnson was alive, he summarized this scam that we white people fall for. And he summarized it great. It's kind of antiquated language, but he said it all. If you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him someone to look down on and he'll empty them for you. It kind of makes sense, huh?
Now, we cannot eliminate the use of race without recognizing that there is a group of people who contributed more to this country than any other group and who never got what every other group who America says that they affronted or that they owed things to got. The people that are the most responsible for the economic development and wealth of this land, this country, this nation, have never gotten what everyone else who America says they did wrong to got. Okay? Japanese people, they put in concentration camps for 3 years, right? They got reparations. The Jews who America had nothing to do with trying to annihilate, they are still getting reparations. They got an entire country. They've got billions of dollars. If you extrapolate it forward, they've gotten billions and billions of dollars from us, not just from Germany, but from us. in reparations for that, right? The Native Americans just got some more reparations the other day. That they have their own federal lands that they can use to make money off of. They have got, so every group that America has admitted that they have affronted have gotten reparations, except, so I don't mean that we get to ignore that. What I do mean is that we get to recognize that the concept of race is a tool that's just used to divide us, manipulate us, and use us as pawns so that they can get out of you what they want to get out of you. Okay? I could go further in depth about the reparations thing if you want, but we're not going to do that today. Okay? So listen. The idea, solutions, elevate your intellect, evolve. We have to evolve our intellect, otherwise we will perish as a nation. We have to eliminate the use of political parties. Otherwise, like I said, they will use them to control you, manipulate you, get what they want out of you, and throw you away. Lastly, eliminate another tool that they have called race to manipulate you, use you to do what they want you to do. It doesn't exist. Acknowledge it, understand that it doesn't exist. You're not a white person. There never was a white person. There's not a black person. There are people of all colors. Okay, there's people of all colors in my family. There's people in my family that are as light as the lightest white person. There's people in my family that are as dark as the dark, or as light as the lightest person of chiefly European descent. And then there's people that are as dark as the darkest American of slave descent in this country. Doesn't exist. Okay, if we do those things, we may have a chance. If we don't, we are done. We may be done anyway because we have so screwed ourselves up by being manipulated by the stuff that we have put ourselves in a place to where World War III might be an inevitability. Thank you. I love you. I'm doing this for you and for me. This is therapy for me. I need to get this stuff out before I perish. And right now, the stuff I'm talking about is nitty-gritty stuff that the people in power do not want you to hear. So I appreciate you. Like and subscribe if you can. Share it if you think that this is useful information. And I will see you soon. Thank you.